Hi, this is Derek at Loop Website Solutions, and this is part 2 of the Keepass video. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install it and how to use it and how to set it up properly. So make sure if you're in this video that you've watched the first video to make sure that you want Keepass. We did that first. I wanted to make sure that you didn't waste your time. This video is quite a bit longer than the other one because there's a lot of detail involved. So if you watched that video and you were interested and you responded and said you wanted to see how to really set it up, that's what this video is. If you haven't seen that video, don't watch this one. Just go ahead and close this video, go watch the other one. This is for the people who are interested and want to get started. Okay, that being said, the whole point of technology like this is to make you faster and more efficient. Okay, it's not going to make you faster and more efficient if you have to go through a bunch of steps to get your password, or if you realize you can't access a site at home on your laptop, like you're sitting on your couch and you'd really like to log into your LinkedIn account, but you can't because your password file is on your computer at work. Okay? Or you have to remember to manually update the password file. So you changed it at work, and then you went home, and then you tried to use Keepass at home, and you realize that you didn't update your database file, so you have the old password in your database. That's not going to work either. Okay, and it also needs to be really, really secure. So that's what I'm showing you how to do. It's really easy just to download Keepass and put it on your computer and start using it. But if you don't take these other things into account, you're going to set it up wrong, and it's not going to work out well for you. So what we're going to do is go through a few things, first of all, on how to set it up properly. So what we need to do is set up a way to put it in your computer so you have an auto-sync it with password protected, two-step verified Google Drive account. I know that's a mouthful, so I'm going to go through it all step by step, so if you're already kind of lost, it's okay. I'm going to go through each of these steps. You see the 6 steps on your screen. I'm going to kind of cover them real quick right now, and then we're going to go through each of them one by one. So step 1 here, you should have your own user account on the terminals you use in your clinic. And all I mean by that is when you're sitting in front of a terminal, you should be able to hit Control-Alt-Delete and then Enter and lock the keyboard and be able to walk away from it. And when you come back, you log back in with your own username. So if you have 3 or 4 people in the clinic all using the same terminals, they really should be logged in as themselves. I just mean through like the Windows software. Not your EHR or anything like that, just the generic Windows software. And the reason is because that's what allows us to auto-sync these things, because we can download things to our user profile, and then we don't have to worry about syncing anything. So, and if you don't understand what I'm saying with that, you'll see it in a little bit. Also, you should open up a Google Drive account and install the software on your terminal. That way you don't have to log into Google Drive every day. I'm going to go through that too. You should enable two-step verification on your personal Google account. It makes it much more secure, and I'll show you how to do that. And then what you're going to do is actually look over my shoulder while I actually download and install the Keepass software on this terminal. And then I'm going to save a couple passwords to it, and I'm going to put it on the Google Drive folder, and I'm going to play with it a little bit. So you'll be able to see kind of how everything works. And if you have any questions after the video, go ahead and send them to me. I'll take care of the questions. I'm kind of going to go through this, anticipating where you might get hung up. And if I miss something, just let me know. Feel free to send me an email anytime, or to leave a comment underneath the video. Okay, so the Google Drive account. I don't know if you're using the Google Drive account or not. If you are and you're already using it, you can probably skip this part of the video. It's about a minute long. Instead of sending you somewhere else or giving you a link, I'm actually just going to pull this thing up and play you the Google video right here in this video. Okay, so here we go.
If you're like most people, you probably store your files in a lot of different places. Saved on your desktop, copied to a thumb drive, buried in your email inbox. But when you need the right file right away, Google Drive can help. Drive keeps all of your stuff in one place, always secure and always up to date, no matter where you sign in from. Here's how it works. Just upload a file, or create a document, spreadsheet, or presentation in Drive, and your file and the latest changes to it are available instantly, here, and here, and here. And when you want to delete a file, that file disappears instantly from here, and here, and here. So if this happens, the files you've added to Drive will still be safe and sound when you need them. Visit Drive online to learn more.
Okay, to set up Google Drive is really simple. You just open up a browser. Just go to drive.google.com, and it's going to pull up the Drive folder. It's going to ask you to sign in. you're going to want to sign in with your personal Gmail account, okay? Because what we're trying to do here is have an account that nobody else can access. So you don't want to use your office Gmail account if anybody else is using it. You don't want to use your office account. You want to make sure you use your personal one. That way you're the only one that has access to it. When you do that, it's going to walk you through all the steps. It'll show you how to set it up. And Google's really good about doing that, so I'm not going to go through all the steps of setting up Google Drive. Google will help do that for you. You just follow the instructions. But what you're going to end up with is you'll see that if you when you go through Google Drive and you set that up and you download the software to your terminal, you'll be able to go into like My Computer, and if you go into like the C hard drive and then you look under Users, on this computer, on this terminal, you can see there's only one user. That's me. If there were 3 or 4 users, you'd see them all underneath here. But when you go and click into this thing, you'll see that I have this Google Drive folder. Actually, I have a couple of them because I have them connected to 2 different Gmail accounts. And if you go in here to Drive, Derek P. Gibbons, you can open that up and you can see it's empty right now. This is where we're going to be saving our database file. That way it's always on the terminal. So when I save something, it saves it to this file. And because it's connected to my Google Drive account, it's going to update it automatically online. So then when I go home and I'm on my laptop and I pull up, try to get my passwords, it's going to automatically do it because I have this also installed at home on my laptop, and it's going to just pull that folder right off the cloud. Alright, so that is why we're using Google Drive. So next, you should enable 2-step verification on your personal Google account. Okay, what we're talking about here is security. This becomes much more important when you actually have a whole bunch of passwords on here. In the past, you could just cancel your Gmail account if somebody broke into it, but now keep in mind, they would get in and they could have access to your Drive folder, which has your database file on it. But keep in mind, your database file is also protected by a master password. So they'd still have to have that password in order to get all your passwords. But what we're going to do is make sure it doesn't happen anyways. So this 2-step verification, you simply go up to google.com/landing/2-step. And when you get there, it's going to show you why you need it, how it works, and how it protects you. You can click Get Started. Basically, the way it works is if you were to try to break into my Google account, even if you found out my username and my password, you'd still have to have my cell phone. I don't have to do it every time I log in because it recognizes my computer, which is an option that you have, so it's not super inconvenient. But if I were at a hotel somewhere and tried to log into my Google account, instead of just opening it up when I put in my password, it's going to ask me for a PIN number that it's going to send to my cell phone. So you don't only have to know my password, but you have to have something I physically have. So again, just like Google Drive, click Get Started and just follow the steps to set it up. Alright, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and download and install the Keepass software in our terminal. So we're going to actually go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so we're going to run over here to keepass.info. You don't have to put /download, just keepass.info. Will take you to the main site. And then when you come over here on the left hand side, you're going to see this button for downloads. You just click that button and it's going to give you some choices. Go over here to the Professional Edition and you can see that you have both a portable and a PC version. And you can see the different, what it's supported over here. So Vista 7, 8 as far as Windows goes. It's also supported on Linux and Mac OS, both 32-bit and 64-bit on Windows. The portable, basically, if you get that, you're just downloading the Keepass software onto like a flash drive so you can take it with you on vacation. And the reason you would do that, even though you have access to your Google Drive folder, that just gives you access to the file. You don't have the software. So just like if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at a Microsoft Word document. Just because I have access to this Microsoft Word document doesn't mean I can open it on a computer that doesn't have Word. I actually have to have Word on a computer to open up a Word file. And so the thing is, any computer that you use and you try to use Keepass has to have the Keepass software. But if you're at a business center somewhere, like in a hotel, they're not going to let you download software to their computer so that you can use it. So you don't really need to. You can actually use a portable version of the software on a USB stick and just stick it into their computer. I don't really use it because I just take my laptop with me everywhere. But it's an option. But you're going to click this one. When you click it, it's going to pop up a window and it's going to ask you to download, where you want to download it to. Alright, so we're going to save it to our desktop. I'm going to give it a second here. Keepass 2.26, so this is the setup file. And it's downloaded, so we're just going to come out here. And so we're just going to double click the setup file. And we're going to run it. Yeah, English would be nice. Welcome to Keepass, password safe setup wizard. Next. You're going to accept the agreement. Click next. It's going to ask you where you want to put it. Okay, now we're not saving our database here, we're just saving the software. So we're going to go ahead and put it, it's calling it Safe 2 here, probably because even though I uninstalled it before doing this video, there's still a folder in there, so we're not going to override it, we're just going to hit next. Alright, it's going to ask you what you want to install. I would go ahead and just do the full installation. Alright, we can create a desktop icon. I'm going to create a desktop icon, but I'm not going to keep it on there. I am going to move it down into my taskbar. Alright, and this right here, associate Keepass with the KDBX file extension. What we're talking about is just like when Windows goes to open up a Word document, the .doc behind the document tells it that it's a Word doc, right? So if I were to save this file, it would save as document1.doc. And so what we're doing here is they're saying, do you want to tell Windows that whenever it sees a KBDX file extension that you're supposed to open it with Keepass? And the answer is yes. Okay, and we're going to click to install. And we're going to click finish. Okay, and the reason I saved this thing right here, even though I'm not going to use it, I'm actually going to move it down to my taskbar. I don't know if you can see it right here, so I'm going to move this a little bit. Pull this down so you can see everything. And I'm just going to right click here on my taskbar and I'm going to unlock it. And then I'm just going to grab this guy, I'm just going to pull him right down here. And then I'm going to relock it. Then I'm going to take this guy and throw him up in the recycle bin. And then we'll go ahead and move this back up where it was. Okay, so now I've got that little icon down there at the bottom that I can click whenever I want to use it. So it's open now. So what we're going to do is use the software. So let's click on the icon and open up the software and see what we got. So the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and open up Keepass. It's not going to ask you a password, most likely. I think it's looking, I had uninstalled this, so I think it's using something from memory. So I'm going to hit cancel. This is what you're going to end up seeing. So you're going to see this completely empty Keepass, and what we're going to do is we're going to set up a new database. Basically, we're creating a file. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and open up a new file. So I'm going to go in and click File, and I'm going to click New. So we are creating a password file right here within the Keepass software. It's going to ask us where we want to save it. I'm going to go up to that user, and I'm going to put it in that Google Drive folder. So this folder is empty. I'm going to call it whatever I want. It says New Database. I'm going to say something like New Passwords. Call it whatever you want. It's going to ask me for the master password. This is where you have to think up a really good password. I'm just going to be able to make something up here because this isn't a real folder for me, and I'm just going to delete it out to video. So I'm going to put something really easy just so I can remember it. And I'm going to call it I'm not going to use the key file. I'm not going to use the Windows user account. I'm just going to click OK. Okay, under General, I'm just going to put the name of the database. I'm just going to use the same name. I'm not going to change any of the other settings. Alright, so what it's done is it has put in a couple of samples, and I'm just going to delete those. And what you'll see over here is that you have all kinds of folders that you can use. Take advantage of these. If you start to get a whole bunch of passwords in here, you're going to want to be able to get to them when you can. I know the auto type is really handy. The problem is sometimes you have like Gmail accounts where you have 3 or 4 different Gmail accounts, and it won't be able to auto type correctly because they all log in from the same screen, so it won't be able to differentiate which account you're trying to get. So I can come over here and I can hit Edit and Edit Group, and we put in Social Media Accounts. Click Save, and then in here I can put my Pinterest, Twitter, and that kind of thing. There are some settings that you're going to want to look at. We're going to go over to Tools and Options. I'm going to leave these the same at the top, but you want to take a look at these options. I like lock the workspace when locking the computer. Basically, if I hit Control-Alt-Delete and then Enter to log out as a user, it's going to automatically lock Keepass. So the next person that logs in, even if they logged in as me, would still need to put in my password to reopen Keepass. So I do like that one. I also like to lock the workspace when it's about to be suspended. That way, if it just goes to sleep, it'll make sure that Keepass is also locked. The next thing, go over to Advanced, and you're going to want to roll down to Auto Type, and there's a couple that you want to make sure are clicked. These aren't all clicked by default. I think it's using my old install again. But make sure that these are clicked in here, because you want to specifically be able to make sure this is clicked. And entry matches if one of its tags is contained in the target window title. And I'll show you what that means in a minute, because we're actually going to go set up a couple passwords right now. And you're going to want to click on Automatically Save when closing or locking the database. This will save you if you forget to save your database after changing a password. As you go to close it, it'll automatically make the save. If you don't do it and you forget to click the save button, you're going to not know your password anymore. So we got those done, and we're going to go ahead and click OK. And now we're going to save it. Right, now that we've saved the database, we should be able to go in here to My Computer and back and look at that Google Drive folder, and we should see it in there. So we're going to go to Users and back to dgib, and then Drive, Derek Gibbons, and there it is, new password. So there's where your folder is, and that's going to basically sync across anywhere where that folder is. So if I put this same folder, if I download the Google Drive software onto my laptop and I connect it to that Google account, it's going to sync automatically for me. So there is the setup and syncing. So let's go set up a couple passwords real quick. The idea here, I don't want you to sit down on a Saturday and try to find every single one of your passwords and do it all at once. Get a feel for it. You'll feel more comfortable with it if you use it on a couple that you haven't used it before. So you won't feel like you're going to make a mistake and lose all your passwords. So let's go over to, let's do Pinterest. So this is me going into a regular Pinterest account. I know that I want to start using my Keepass. I'm not currently using it. So let's log in. So this is when I have this really weak password on. I want a really strong password. I want to be able to save it, and I want to use auto type. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to go into Settings. And we're going to see change your password. So this is it. So we got our old password. Now we want to have a nice strong password using Keepass, so we're actually going to use Keepass to make it for us. So we're going to put it in social media accounts folder, so I'm just going to click that. Then I'm going to click this key, and it's going to open up add an entry. What I want to do is call it Pinterest. The username is, what was it? And then I'm going to show you something really quick. We're going to open the password generator to make a password for us. And what I've done here is you can see that you have all these choices, uppercase, lowercase, digits. You can put in special characters. You can pick what length you want the password to be, and it will generate a password for you. But if you get something set up how you want it, you can actually click this button and you can save it. And I might have that already saved. 20 plus specials is what I call it. Meaning it's got 20 characters, uppercase, lowercase, digits, and it's got special characters like number signs and percent signs. It makes it super, super tough to crack. So what we've done is we told it to do this, and we click OK. In the future, we don't need to do that anymore, because if we save it, I can just go to 20 plus specials and click that. So it makes me my password. I click this little button right here. It shows me it's already highlighted for me. All I have to do is right click it. I'm going to hit copy, and that's it. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click save. And now that super strong password is in the clipboard because I copied it. So I'm just going to come back here and put it in real quick. Just Control V, change password. And there we go. Your password has been changed successfully. So now I have this super hard password, and I don't even know what it is, but I know that it is in my database. So I'm going to log out. And if you go back to the database, you can see there it is. So I don't have anything there. You can come in here. One really cool feature on this, if I right-click this, it gives me the option to copy the password. So you can't even see it when I'm looking at it here. But I don't have to open this up. I can just right-click it and hit copy password. If you put your URL in there when you're setting it up, you can actually hover over it and then click on open, and it'll open the URL for you too. But in a case with Pinterest where I only have one Pinterest account, what I'm really most concerned about is the auto type. And here's what you need to know about auto type. When you go to do the auto type from the login page, what it is going to do is needs to match this page with your database. So in this case, it's really easy. It goes off the title. The title's up in the tag. So see how this says Pinterest? When I look in here, I can see, well, my title's Pinterest. So this is definitely going to work. Sometimes the title is really weird. You're looking up here and it just says login or something like that. Or it says login and some other words that don't really match, so it's not really intuitive. That's why we click that box to match the tags. When I come in here and I click on this, I can right click and I can hit edit view entry. If I come over here to properties, there's a thing called tags, and I can put whatever tags I want in here. So if I have a problem with auto type not matching it correctly, I can just look up here and see it's called Pinterest and make sure I put Pinterest in this tag and then hit OK and then hit save, and it'll work fine for me. But in this case I don't have to because the title matches the title, so it's going to be able to do it just fine. So I'm just go in here and hit Control Alt A, and it's going to fill that out for me. If you have any questions about this kind of thing, understand that Keepass has a really good support portal. So you can put things in like how to use auto type in Keepass. And of course, see right here, keepass.info help base auto type. Click on it, and it'll give you all kinds of information. So it's supported really well. So let's do one more while we're here. Let's go do the old reader. The old reader, I think I talked about this in the first video. It's just a news feed aggregator that I use to get my news. So we're going to click here to log in, and we are going to have to log in order to change the password. And this is the way I did it when I first got Keepass. Just as I would go to pages, as I used them in real life, I would just start changing them as I was using them. Alright, so this pulls up now, and we're just going to go over here to settings, and we're going to look for a change password. Here it is. So this is really easy. It's just asking me to put in a new password. Don't even have to verify my old one. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull up Keepass, and we're going to make sure this isn't social media accounts. I think I'm just going to put it under internet. So that's empty there, and we're going to click this key button again, and we're going to look. You can look up the title. It says the old reader. So you can just put that in there if you want, then you don't have to worry about tags. Alright, the username. And then let's go get a really strong password by clicking on the one we saved, 20 plus specials. Click the little button, right click, copy, OK, save. Right here, Control V. Scroll down, hit Save Changes. And again, shouldn't have a problem with auto type because it's just as straightforward. The login, remember you got to use the title of the actual login page. So when we click login, you can see it still says the old reader. So Control Alt A should have no problem. And there it is. So I'll go ahead and close all these tabs. When you go to close this, we're going to close this out. And it's basically just saved. That database is saved in that Google Drive folder. So if I'm logged out of everything, remember we made a master password? So we've actually closed this. So if I try to use it, it's not going to work. So if I want to go back to the old reader and open that up, and I'm on the login page, and I hit Control Alt A, nothing's going to happen because Keepass isn't open. The file I have access to, but the software needs to be open to work. So you're just going to click on this little icon again. It's going to ask you for your master password. And then when you open it up, it's going to open up the software, and it's going to be tied to the last database you were using. So that way you don't always have to go find it. Okay, so that's it for this video. Go ahead and set it up and just add a couple of passwords to it, mess around with it a little bit, and just get comfortable with it before you start putting really important passwords on it. I don't use my main Google account password inside of this system. I don't use Keepass for that. That is actually one that I have a really strong password and memorize it. And I also memorize my master key. But those are the only passwords that I need to memorize. Since all of my passwords are in my Drive folder, it doesn't make sense to have my password to open up my Drive folder in my Drive folder. with the rest of my passwords. Those need to be separate. So that's something to keep in mind when setting these up. But I really do advise use it for like your Twitter account and your LinkedIn account and get comfortable with it a little bit at a time before you go and just put all of your passwords into it, okay? Now, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. If you think it'll help somebody else, please let them know. But make sure they watch the first video first. And I realize that was a lot to take in at one time, and I hope I was clear on everything. And if I wasn't, please let me know, because I can get back to you and make a follow-up video on any of the separate parts of this really, really easy, okay? Thanks a lot.